So some of these readings in Mark are quite short, and they're full of meaning though, but it may be that it's necessary to read them a few times. So Jesus is arrested. So he's speaking, he's been praying, Judas appears, reappears, and with this big crowd. He's betrayed with a kiss. And we kind of see that now as a sign of like just how horrible that was. But in some ways it was just a way of, in the dark, pointing out who the right guy was. Because he knew Jesus really well, and the guys coming to get him could have got him mixed up with the others. And there's this kind of battle, but it's over pretty fast. They seize him, and one of them strikes out, one of the disciples strikes out and cuts off an ear, and Jesus is like, why are we doing this? And instead of joining in the battle, he kind of goes, you could have taken me any time, why are you taking me now? And he actually takes the heart out of his own followers who might have fought for him physically, but they desert him because he doesn't fight. He just says, you could have taken me in public, why are you doing it in the dark? He's calling them to our higher standard, even though they're the ones he knows are going to kill him and do everything that they're going to do. And his friends desert him. And then we have this really interesting last two verses. So there's a young man was wearing nothing but a linen garment and following Jesus. They tried to grab him, and they just get the garment and he run off. The tradition is that this is Mark himself, who was a boy at the time, and has kind of got the stories. He was around, but he's got the kind of history of it from asking other people who were there and talking to them, and then written down his account, his gospel. That this is him kind of putting himself in. We've got no proof of that, but that's the tradition. So, what does this say to me? Sometimes Jesus does the stuff we don't expect. God can be sneaky, not in a bad way, in a loving way, can kind of twist things around us as we think he's going to do one thing and he does another. Sometimes he sticks to what he said and we've changed our mind and we're expecting something else. Sometimes his victory doesn't look like victory at certain points, because it's a journey to the cross and then resurrection, rather than just a glorious overtaking all the time and a glorious win to win to win. When we were doing the Acts reading, I was really struck by the fact that Paul kind of hitched a ride to Rome by being a prisoner and looked like he'd failed and found himself in a good place. Jesus at this point looks like he's messed everything up and it's all falling apart, but we know he wins in the end. You know, it's like that story we know too well and we know the end, but this looked like utter failure. And sometimes on the journey to ultimate breakthrough, there has to be moments that look bad and feel bad. And we only lose as Christians when we give up. We only lose when we give up. As long as we don't give up, we win. Because even if it takes till Jesus' return or the end of the world or our death for things to turn out right, it will eventually. We only lose when we give up. And even when we give up, we're invited back to try again. So where could you have more faith? Stop giving up. Have more faith. Do I mean that? I probably don't. Where can you stick with Jesus even though things look like it's not going to work out, and trust him to eventually, via the cross and resurrection, lead you to life eternal and life in all its fullness?